Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining us on today's Warrior Chat. We have a very, very important topic that we want to share information related for all of our parents. And gosh, I think even as a community member, you may find this interesting. As here at the Southern York County School District, we transition from one electronic grade book, which we called Letter Grade, to a new electronic grade book this year for the 2014-15 school year, which is called Progress Book. And I have three experts with me today who are going to share briefly some information about this transition and why it's important. And I'll start from the left and work to my right. Dr. Bob Bryson, who is this year the Assistant Superintendent for the Southern York County School District. And you know, it's nice to try to introduce these guys and have an opportunity to say a few words about each of them. But Dr. Bryson, gosh, was a teacher, an athletic director, and a principal at Susquehannock High School, and now is the assistant superintendent. But if you ask me just for a few words to describe Dr. Bryson, I would say, first of all, he's just an incredible, outstanding educator. You know, he's active in the classroom. He understands the educational process, and in addition to that, understands what it takes for students to achieve in the classroom. Now, there's many, many other good things I can tell you about Dr. Bob, but we'll be brief and leave it at that. But we're very, very fortunate here to have Dr. Bob Bryson as our assistant superintendent. Next is Mr. Ben Louie. Mr. Louie is our technology integration specialist, and some of you have previously had a chance to see Mr. Louie here on Warrior Chats. But Mr. Louie's primary responsibility is to take the technology we have. And if you can imagine, thousands of computers, dozens of software applications to help every student achieve every day in our classrooms, that Mr. Louie will work with our teachers and our students to integrate how to use that technology to make it effective, because we all know it's one thing to give somebody a computer, but another thing to make it effective and to influence so that child has growth in the classroom in their educational environment. And Mr. Louie is absolutely outstanding, and kind of what makes him unique in that ability is he was a classroom teacher also, but he also is one of these technology guru kind of guys. So he's got a unique combination that I don't think very many people have. So it makes him ideal for that technology integration role. And then finally, Dr. Len Ruppert, who is our middle school principal. Just give you a little bit of Dr. Ruppert's background. First of all, many of you probably recall his history here at Southern York County School District, where he worked very well and award-winning with at-risk students here primarily at the high school and Southern Middle School, and did such a nice job and progressed throughout his educational career to get his doctorate degree and become the principal at the middle school. And again, if you ask me to describe Dr. Ruppert, a couple things would come to mind. First of all, again, an outstanding educator. But one thing I have learned to value in Dr. Ruppert is just the collaborative nature that you work with all aspects of our school district community, including parents and students, our staff, the teachers. He's one of those guys that can pull everyone together to find common goals and common ways to achieve things, and that's a unique ability also. So there you go, guys. So we're going to talk a little bit about this again, transition from our existing letter grade to Progress Book. So I'll start with Dr. Bryson. What is, even globally, broadly, what is even the purpose of having an electronic grade book, please?
First of all, thank you for all the kind words, Dr. McCullough. You're too kind. And thank you for being with us. I think the overall purpose is it's a communication piece. It's going back to the traditional sense when a teacher just kept a grade book and it was a hard copy, paper, pencil type of grade book that really only the teacher had access to. And I think what the digital component of a grade book does is it allows students and parents that same access that the teacher would have, in a sense of knowing what a student's grades are at any given time, and in addition to what their assignments may be at any given time. So I think the biggest component that you see, or the biggest benefit, is just having that ability to be in the loop, to have information, and to better work in a partnership between parent, teacher, and student to know where a student's progress, if you will, is at any given time.
Dr. Ruppert, describe how a parent uses not necessarily the technical aspect of how they use it, but what benefits specifically and what do they go onto the grade book to look for?
Well, one of the things that they'll look for immediately is, how's my student doing in the classroom? What is the grade? But more importantly, what are maybe some of the missing assignments, etc. That has been one of the key components of an electronic grade book, is that communication, as Dr. Bryson alluded to, that communication between the parent and the teacher, and even so the student and the teacher, because of the access. The one thing that we stress throughout the district is, with the electronic grade book, that the parents can take a look. If they have any questions directly, they can contact the teachers immediately. In the past, when we had the paper pencil grade book, that communication lag would have been several weeks, could have been several months, depending on how quickly the parents receive that information. Now it's almost daily that the parents can see where the progress is of their student, then communicate with the teacher. So that communication piece is really going to be one of the biggest benefits moving forward.
Well, I think so. From a parent perspective, I have a high school child, but I know my wife and I get on that thing every day. On the electronic grade book, we log in, look at every grade that's been posted, and you're right. If we see an assignment, for example, where she wasn't successful, first we tell her, well, go contact your teacher and see what you need to do to understand that concept, and then if needed, we'll contact the teacher. So do you think it's improved the educational program? Do you think it's improved that communication aspect?
Yeah, I think the communication aspect has really improved, and one of the features of Progress Book that we're really looking forward to utilizing, more specifically our teachers, is that communication right through the gradebook system. Yeah. Therefore, they can communicate specifically. A student could be absent from school. A teacher can then inform that parent of what the assignments are if they're out for an extended period of time, if there's a trip and tour. That way the communication is there, the parents can see, and then if there's any questions, more specifically, they can then ask the teacher and then get some expedited results. I think another key piece with the Progress Book is for administratively, as well as within our guidance department, we're able to quickly pull up, view where the students are, and then what adjustments, what safety nets do we need to put in place for those students that may be struggling academically. Yeah. So across the board, it's really going to help impact the overall student learning and achievement in our building, in our district.
Outstanding. I think you get the feel of why that important, why it's important. 24/7 access by parents to understand how student progress is taking place, improve communication between the student and the teacher, between the parent and the teacher, primarily from a parent's perspective and so forth. And as Dr. Bryson and Dr. Reppert indicated, they're really individualized instruction where it can be monitored, accessed by all teachers. So a teacher, for example, Dr. Bryson, a teacher of math, may be able to access to see how a child's doing in English and be able to, again, make sure that child has progress.
Yeah, I think that's another important piece to this, is that the staff wholeheartedly across the board in the building can kind of monitor and keep an eye on if there are issues academically. Could be a special ed teacher that's progress monitoring, or a special ed teacher that's taking a look at the whole child and not just mathematics or not just English, but looking at commonalities if there's a struggle at a certain period of time.
Right.
That information's right at their fingertips, whereas in the past it was a little more difficult to do. So I think that's another piece, is the staff themselves are going to find it as probably a pretty easy transition from letter grade. However, there are some features such as shared grade books and pieces to progress book that make it easier for them to communicate amongst each other as well, in trying to see what's best for the child.
Okay, Mr. Louie, why now the change from letter grade to a new electronic grade book, Progress Book? Because I think for the most part, people are used to letter grade. They've used it now for several years and so forth. So why now the change?
Yeah, well, the company that built and designed letter grade has actually been out of business for a few years. But fortunately, we've had Mr. Bruce Mickey has been able to really get his hands on that and keep it running and actually add a lot of new functionality over the last couple of years. But we're just getting to the point now where with changes in browsers and mobile devices and just new forms of data that need to be accessible, it was time to partner up with a vendor who is on the cutting edge and is putting out products and product updates that are keeping us relevant and on the cutting edge. So while it is an adjustment and a lot of people are very comfortable with letter grade, teachers, even myself, a lot of us, it's one of those changes that we just need to make, in order to ensure that you've seen the importance of the product, so we need to ensure that the thing's going to be there and be working every day. And so, we now be in a position where we're working with a vendor who's been in the business for a number of years and puts out a quality product, and it's also one that we feel will be a pretty seamless transition from letter grade to make it easy for all of our users.
We've kind of nicknamed, I have anyway, or coined the phrase for our technology department, we say down in the engine room. So if parents, guardians, or really anybody in the community accessing any information on our website, including the Progress Book, if they need support, tell us what they should do, Mr. Lee.
Monday through Friday, we have a help desk that's there, fully functional, ready to answer questions from 7:30 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon. And they can be reached by dialing the district's number and then extension 7262, or by email at helpdesk@sycsd.org. And so we've got a full-time help desk technician as well as everybody in the technology department is able to answer that. So. We actually have a new system this year where the number won't ring busy. So even if somebody is on it, it'll ring to another line. If somebody's on that, it'll ring over to another one. So we've increased our efficiency there and to make sure that we're able to take all the calls as they come in immediately.
Okay, so it is a change. It's a transition as we transition from the old letter grade grade book. Again, the company went out of business and no longer able to support it. Mr. Lou is right. Fortunately, we've had talented people like Mr. Mickey to be able to maintain it, but as browsers have changed and so forth, there's just no way to keep that thing successfully and to make sure we can guarantee service for all of our parents. So we knew it was time to, like you said, to find a vendor that would provide a state-of-the-art grade book for our students and parents moving forward, as well as our staff. But again, if you have any questions, what the process is this. Parents and guardians, you'll receive a letter in the mail with login information. Login, suggest look around, don't you think, Mr. Louie?
Yeah, I mean, I think parents will find that it's pretty intuitive. It's probably just as easy, if not maybe easier, to navigate than what letter grade was. So, yeah, I'd say get in there and take a look.
Okay, navigate it, and certainly again, if you have questions, contact the help desk by dialing 235-4811 extension 7262, or email helpdesk@sycsd.org, and we'll certainly make sure you get support. It's very, very important to us to provide outstanding service and support for all of our students and parents as well as our staff members. Okay, any final word, Dr. Bob?
No, appreciate you having us on and giving us an opportunity to just inform the community on what's to come. And like you said, if they have any problems, don't be afraid to pick up the phone and give us a call.
Alrighty. So for Dr. Bob Bryson, Mr. Ben Louie, Dr. Len Reppert, and Mr. Mark Rill, our coordinator of public information, I'm Wayne McCullough saying, I'll see you next time.